So hello everybody, if you're watching live, say hi. If you're watching the replay, just put hashtag replay. Do leave comments and reaction to anything I share. That helps other people find the post, find the video I mean. So we're going to talk about this topic, your mind can hinder or help recovery. Now I know there are going to be some responses from people who are saying ME, CFS, fibromyalgia, long COVID are very real physical conditions. So what has the mind got to do with it? And that's understandable. You know, at one point I didn't really understand the mind-body connection. But if you're ignoring the fact that your mind can activate your fight-flight response, and if that's happening a lot of the time, then that's literally stopping your body doing important repair work. It's switching off or suppressing vital functions that are essential for someone to be healthy and to do repair work, recovery work. So I believe that most people know at some level that stress makes them feel worse. Consider how many times you've had a stressful episode and you've ended up feeling worse. People often don't make the connection between stress and the body's symptoms and recovery. And people also overlook the fact that sometimes they feel better and they're not sure why. And sometimes that's because they have been in a more relaxed state. Okay, so if you're not sure about what I'm talking about, I won't go into this into too much depth in this video, but I have made a video which is on my YouTube channel called Reasons for Hope. So do check out that video. Okay, but it's really important that we understand that the mind affects the body affects the mind. There is research that shows the mind-body connection. So if you've watched some of my videos before, hello again. If you're finding this video for the first time, my name is Pimenta. I had ME, CFS, fibromyalgia for 8-9 years, didn't work for that time. And at times I couldn't walk for 1 minute. But I got back to working full-time, living an active life. And this weekend I was at a festival. In July I was in a festival. Back in July on one of the days, actually I was pretty much only there for one full day. And I walked nearly 20,000 steps. On Saturday I walked 14,500 steps, walked over 12,000 steps each day. And, you know, that's pretty good for someone who at one point wasn't walking for 1 minute. So if you have joined me, do feel free to say hello in the chat. See, there's some people watching. So I create videos and free resources to help you explore and understand the mind-body connection. And I want to share practical strategies to help you move towards your goals. So do check out my YouTube channel, check out the playlists where I've got playlists on a variety of topics, dealing with dips, setbacks. Jen says hi. Hi Jen, nice to have you with us. And various other topics. Okay, so do check out my playlist. So quick overview, humans are quite complex in one sense. The medical model tends to be a bit reductionist. It tends to be mechanistic, i.e. it kind of views the body and the mind as separate entities. It kind of views the body in the same way as a mechanic would view the car. You know, if something isn't working, that needs to be fixed. Annie's also saying hi, nice to have you join me, Annie. But research shows we can't disconnect the mind and body. They work together, and when they work together well, we experience health and well-being. So I've been doing a course called the Mind-Body Reconnect, which was created by Claire Caldwell. And Claire talks about there being two types of intelligence, our emotional brain and our thinking brain. So I've talked about this in a video that I did with Lindsay. Some of you may know her, where we shared 3 recovery light bulb moments each. And I talked about the importance of getting good at feeling helps healing. And I talked about these two intelligences very briefly. I'll go into more depth into the thinking brain, but just so that you understand the emotional brain, the role of the emotional brain. Two key roles of the emotional brain. Number one, to keep you safe. Number two, to ensure you're living a life that's fulfilling. And if you're doing something and it feels good, your emotional brain will be picking that up, and it will send you sensations of feeling good, energy and health. And your emotional brain is picking up information from your past experiences, from the present in real time, to just ensure that you are safe and fulfilled. And it generates what we call authentic emotions. There are two types of emotions. I'll talk about the second type of emotion in a bit. But the authentic emotions arise before conscious thought. They are, if you like, our intuition or that gut instinct. And they tell the truth of the situation. If something doesn't feel good, if we're experiencing an interaction and we kind of feel, there's something not okay about this interaction, your emotional brain will generate an authentic emotion. Another example of that is, let's say I'm feeling bored. Let's say, when you had mecfs, when I had mecfs, I was feeling bored, a bit frustrated. If I didn't listen to that signal from my emotional brain that I was feeling bored, then it would turn up the emotions. If I kept not listening, it would start sending symptoms. Now, for many of us, we learned to ignore our emotional brain. This happened in childhood. Some of us learned that we should be seen and not heard. So we disconnect from our emotions because we learn quickly that if we express our emotions, we might not get love and approval. If we express upset, frustration, anger, we might experience disapproval. And that, for a young child, is very threatening. So some of us learn to disconnect from our emotions. We don't notice them, we suppress them, we repress them. Sometimes we notice them, but we don't act on them. We don't value them, we don't prioritize our emotions. Maybe we put other people first. Let me know if that's a trait that you can relate to, being a people pleaser, putting other people first. And these behaviors kept us safe. They ensured that we experienced, they increase the chance that we experience love and approval, but they don't really serve us in the long term. They certainly don't serve us now if we're not putting ourselves first, we're prioritizing other people. If we don't listen to our emotions and take appropriate action, they build up in the body. They send messages to the brain. The brain sends more signals back that we're not responding appropriately to the situation, and it will send symptoms. If we ignore those symptoms get louder until we're overwhelmed with symptoms. Okay, so that's our first intelligence, our emotional brain. The second intelligence is what's called the thinking brain. And the thinking brain has two parts to it. The first part is what we call our problem solver. This is the part that listens to the emotional brain. Claire talks about the 3 C's: curiosity, compassion, constructive action. So the emotional brain listens to, the thinking brain, the problem solver part of the thinking brain, listens to the emotional brain with curiosity. Rather than, let's say I'm experiencing a symptom, rather than saying, oh no, I've got this symptom, the thinking brain, the problem solver part of the thinking brain, views that symptom sensation with curiosity, with compassion, and looks to take constructive action. So for example, if I'm bored, then I might just take a small action, and this tells my emotional brain that I'm listening to it. And if I take a small action that alleviates some of the boredom, then the emotional brain sends positive energy. If we keep doing that, we start to experience health and well-being. Consider that. How many times have you been feeling a little bit out of sorts and you took some action? Maybe you had a phone call with somebody and you kept on listening to your emotional brain, so you didn't, spend too long in that conversation if your energy's fickle, but you enjoyed that interaction and you felt better for it. That happened to me many times. Okay, now, as I say, there's two parts of the thinking brain. There's the problem solver, but there's another part. I wonder if you can guess what it's called. Okay, I can take a quick swig of my drink. Feel free to have a guess. One part is the problem solver. The other part is what we call the problem creator. Now, this part is trying to make sense of our experience. It's trying to make sense of those emotions, those sensations, those symptoms that the emotional brain is generating. But if we don't understand the emotional brain is trying to communicate with us, to get our attention and to take constructive action, the problem creator part of the thinking brain can start interpreting those signals, those emotions, those symptoms with alarm. So, we might say, oh no, I've got this symptom, that means I'm broken, that means I'm never going to get well. And this generates the stress response. The problem creator part of the thinking brain can be overactive. So when I had ME/CFS at one point, my problem creator part of the thinking brain was in the driving seat. I was noticing symptoms, panicking. So anticipator, I think Annie's talking about internal family systems. Let me know if that's right. It's a book that I've yet to read. But yeah, that part of us can be the part that overthinks, that worries, that catastrophizes. This results in anxiety. We call this thought-generated emotion. So there's the authentic emotion produced by the emotional brain, which is a very quick response to the situation. And then there's the thought-generated emotions, which are produced by the problem creator part of the thinking brain. So as I say, we can catastrophize, we can replay things over and over in our head, and that means we haven't processed something emotionally. So if you've had the experience of mulling over something over and over, that's because you haven't processed the emotion. It's still in your system. Let me know if that's something you have experienced, replaying things over and over again in your head, mulling over things that have happened, because you're trying to make sense of it. The message that we are sending out is that we're not safe. Okay? As we say, this activates the stress response and it stops healing. It generates those thought-generated emotions. If I feel or perceive that I'm not safe, I'm now going to feel anxious. I might now start to generate adaptive behaviours. If I feel unsafe, maybe I'll slip into people-pleasing mode or overachiever mode or perfectionist mode as a way of getting love and attention and safety. Okay, I might develop avoidant behaviours. If I'm feeling unsafe in relation to my body, I might start thinking, it's not safe for me to do physical activity. When I'm doing some food prep, for example, I might be doing it in a hurry because I think my energy is going to run out. But again, that just hinders the body's attempts to heal and it stops the body producing and storing energy. Okay, so as I say, the problem creator part of the thinking brain can generate those thought-generated emotions, for example, anxiety, whereas the emotional brain generates authentic emotions in the moment, in real time, because the emotional brain wants us to feel safe and fulfilled. And so you might be thinking, well, okay, how do we get the emotional brain and the thinking brain working together well? How do I get out of problem creator mode into problem solver mode? So with the Mind Body Reconnect, this course that I've just done, there is a framework for that. I won't kind of share that now, but I'll share a simple 3 steps for you to think about. Okay, the first step is that it's important to connect to our body and feel our emotions. Now, I have made other videos on that, so do check out the emotions playlist on my YouTube channel. Second thing we need to do is to connect to the problem solver part of the thinking brain. This is the part of you that is wise. This is the part of you that has what I call supervision. It has the capacity for awareness. It has the capacity to spot patterns, and it has the capacity to decide what action we need to take. The third step is to shift our mindset. So to identify those limiting beliefs. So if we have the belief, I'm never going to get well, good things don't happen to me, symptoms mean that I'm not safe. This is not the truth, okay? Symptoms, unless it is something that you have to take immediate action and call for an ambulance, are not a threat. They might be uncomfortable, but they are a call for action. They're a signal that we need to take some form of action. So just to recap, 3 steps. First of all, feel your emotions, connect with your body. Step 2, connect to the problem solver, the part of you that is wise. Remember, that part of you that is wise has shown up many times in your life. So I invite you to connect to that part of yourself each day. Remind yourself that there is a part of you that's wise. And step 3, shift your mindset. Shift those limiting beliefs. If you have the limiting belief, I'm not going to get well, recognize that is a belief, that there is another possibility that you could get well. Okay, if you have the belief that good things don't happen to me, that is just a belief. And there is some research that shows that people have about the same amount of luck, but some people acknowledge their good luck, other people don't, they overlook it. Okay, so consider those 3 steps. So do subscribe to my YouTube channel, check out the playlists. If you feel like you need more help, check out the different topics that I've covered. I was chatting to someone earlier today who wanted help with dealing with dips, and also help with boosting her energy. So I've made videos on those topics. If you're watching this video on Facebook, do follow. You are welcome to join my Facebook group. I will add the link below. Follow me on TikTok or Insta. I do post more content on TikTok, but you're welcome to follow me on those. And as I say, do join my Facebook group if you'd like more tips. If you'd like to know more about the mind-body reconnect approach, I'm happy to send you an outline of the approach. And if you want to have a chat to explore it more, I'm happy to do that. That's a free chat. There's no charge for that. So if you're interested in that, just comment the word mind below this video and I will send you a link where you can get in touch and we can chat further, or I'll just send you that information. If you've got any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat. I've covered a lot of ground in a short amount of time. Let me know what your key takeaway is. Okay, it's always really interesting and useful to find out what's resonated with people. So feel free to let me know in the chat. So if you've got any questions, I'll give you a moment to just pop them in the chat. Someone's left a comment, but I can't. Okay, Annie's saying mind. Okay, Annie, I will post a link. In fact, I'll send you a PM and we'll share some details with you of the approach. So thanks everybody for watching. If you have found this video helpful, as I say, it's great if you leave a comment, leave a like, share it if you so wish. But keep up the great work. Remember, dare to dream. Keep taking steps, no matter how small, to help you move forward towards your goals. Jen says, thanks, Simon. Great reminders about how the mind influences the symptoms. You are welcome. So thanks, everybody. Wishing you great health. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.